Hello, I am very glad to see you today. My name is Yogini Rasta. I'm yoga instructor of the International Open Yoga University, and today is the January the 6th of 2015. We are meeting after the 2 weeks Christmas and New Year break, so Happy New Year and wishing the best in your yoga learning and studying process. And I really hope you have enjoyed the wonderful holidays and we can go on our full potential this year in our studies. Just as the reminding, all our information and materials are available on the website yogaopenyoga.com, where you will be able to find all the video, text materials, homeworks and tests, just for you to grow in the yoga area. And today, actually, we are having lesson number 7, and this will be a very interesting topic that we are going to discuss. But if you have any questions, inquiries, feedback, then you are more than welcome to send your emails to the email address yogaopenyoga@gmail.com. And also, as the reminding, we are meeting once a week, and those are going to be Tuesday evenings, at least by the European time. And our today's topic is Hatha Yoga. Something more practical, something more down to earth, something more that you can use in a practical life. Because as you might remember from the last year, we already observed a few different topics on what is yoga, the lifestyle of ancient yogis, and we talked about the first and the second principle of yoga. We talked about our online classes and the characteristics that we are looking forward to have in the future yogis. And also we were talking about the kinds of yoga. And I hope you have your notebooks and pens ready to make the important notes that will be very helpful when you will write down your homework, and more in not only for the homework but for your personal practice as the yogis. So my best wishes to you again, and I think we can go on. So, most of us want to solve some physical problems to improve their mind abilities and grow uh, better and better. And they are just not aware where to look for that. And usually what they do is they search for some mysterious teacher. They go somewhere, usually far, searching for those people who could open the doors or windows to the new knowledge and new experience. However, a yoga, that is the system of self-exploration and exploring of the universe, is telling us that all that we need to know, all that we are searching for, is already inside us. And all that we need to do is explore ourselves, and thereby we can apply various kinds of yoga and like study ourselves. Thereby, as we talked in the kinds of yoga, there is the Hatha Yoga, Kriya Yoga, Mantra Yoga, Yoga of sleep, yoga of learning, yoga of teaching, and many other different kinds of yoga, as there are as many kinds of yoga as there are ways that we can express ourselves. Thereby, we have a large variety to choose from. However, each one of us will probably find one main direction and still taking some useful things from the many different areas of the yoga. So there's no one proper way or one right way that we could use. We just go on and do it. Actually, yoga is very ancient. We already talked about the ancient yogis, and the ability of yoga coming to our days, while being at least several thousands of years old, is telling that this system is rather effective. And each one of us, even was the small application of efforts and small work inside of it, can already feel the first results from it. Of course, it will take a lot, probably take more time to see that you really have got a result, but this is only the secondary thing. However, the sad fact is that even though yoga is becoming more and more popular, and about 2,000 years ago in the Western culture, we were not even aware of it, and that probably in the West and the United States there are more people who have been at least once to the yoga class. The number of them is far more higher than in India. It doesn't mean that we have really good understanding at least of the basic areas in yoga. And this is actually the great problem of our modern times, that even though we apply the practical things or say that we are practicing yoga, sometimes it's nothing more than the gymnastics or aerobics. Because in order to do yoga, you have to be there has to be a willingness to do it, and you have to apply the two methods, the method of energy and the method of consciousness, in a harmonious way in order to succeed. And this is not a very easy task to do. Thereby, I'm sorry, we have to study this area. But as soon as we have started with the theory and we have at least some minimum background, we have to go on the yoga mat and get our experience. And then the feelings that we get in this experience will be our guides. And there can be a lot of treatises written, a lot of ancient texts, many different teachers reading lectures, classes, giving workshops, but you are letting it through your own perspective and the ways you see it. But we all have to start somewhere, and it's a good idea to start with Hatha Yoga, because most of the yoga that is offered today actually is Hatha Yoga. And this kind of yoga that is very practical, and we as the modern people often tend to evaluate things by how practical they are, is there for us, that we can touch or do and understand almost right away. And also the fact that our life is quite difficult, and there have been a lot of difficulties for the yogis and other people since the ancient times, and those are a lot of physical, emotional, and mental problems, that the practices applied in Hatha Yoga are very, very beneficial, and they were applied more intensively than the advanced kinds of yoga. Thereby, they have remained available to our days and are explored very, very well. And the ancient yogis actually had about the same problem, that they spend a lot of time sitting in a meditation pose. And they were sitting like we are doing, because we use a lot of public transportation, we are using a lot of cars, we are sitting a lot of time in front of our screens like TVs and the computers. And also We sit a lot. Rather than being active, we sit. We are quite passive in at least the physical way. And we have quite a lot of stress due to this kind of lifestyle. And there comes also some emotional stress from the speed that our life is having now, because changes are happening quite rapidly. Then we need some workout. And what the ancient yogis did, they invented Hatha Yoga, that is more or less physical yoga. Those are static physical exercises or static physical poses. If we look back in the history, or if we look in the ancient texts, then a very famous writing of the yogis is a Yoga Sutra written by the Patanjali. And he has divided yoga in 8 steps. He classified this teaching, and he made 8 steps for the reaching of the final goal or final destination in yoga. First 2 are the ones that are mostly internal and external code of conduct. And the third one is Hatha Yoga or asanas. Asanas translating means the pose or the pose for meditation. And what Hatha Yoga does is actually training our body to be able to sit in one position, in one comfortable position for quite a long time. And those can be hours, and thereby we need to prepare our bodies for such kind of things. So, and it really doesn't say that the more you twist or the stronger the position are, the better. Because actually, the most advanced pose in the yoga, if I can show you, is more like this. When your spine is on one line and we are sitting rather than standing, and it is a stable and safe position. Thereby, we are feeling quite well. Because there are a lot of stereotypes about the yoga, and some people are actually very much afraid to go to a yoga class because they predict or foresee or have heard the yogis or people in very strange positions, and that and they think that they will never come to this level, even though it's not necessary. But there is a very large possibility that we will come to this gradually. But actually, if you can take this position for a longer period of time, or you find other ways to do it, then it's not necessary. And you shouldn't really fear about the complicated poses. It's not necessary. So what we need to do as the result of Hatha Yoga is to feel good in a stable position and to be able to concentrate and to meditate. Thereby, we go and go for it, rather than the aim of Hatha Yoga is not really in the complicated poses. But then you would say, okay, but what does the word Hatha mean in a translation? Then we have in our school we have the treatise on Hatha Yoga that actually is quite long. It has several parts, but one of them that is translated, there is the story about the Raja, the king or the ruler of some land, and he has lost, at that moment he has lost the land, but he has a girlfriend, and she's a yogini. She's a yogini, and she's teaching him yoga, and actually she's teaching him Hatha Yoga. And let me read you a small extract from this text, dealing actually with the word Hatha. So Adya, that's the name of this Raja or the ruler, asked, "Tell me, what does word Hatha mean and how to understand it?" The girlfriend replied, "Ha is father, Tha is mother, Ha is mother, Tha is father, Hatha is their union, their baby. Ha, the sun, Tha, the moon, Ha, the moon, Tha, the sun. Hatha means eclipse. Ha means day, Tha means night. Ha is night, Tha is day. Hatha means dawn and sunset. Ha means inhale, Tha means exhale. Ha is exhale, Tha is inhale. Hatha means no inhale, no exhale. When inhale takes over exhale and exhale takes over inhale. Ha means vowels. Tha means consonants. Ha means consonants. Tha means vowels. Hatha means mantra. Ha is right. Tha is left. Ha is left. Tha is right. Hatha means the middle. Ha is white. Tha is red. Ha is red. Tha is white. Hatha means sky blue. Ha means to perceive. Tha means to act. Ha means to act. Tha to perceive. Hatha means to achieve the highest result. Ha means tension. Tha means relaxation. Ha means relaxation and Tha means tension. Hatha is life journey. Ha means pushing yourself. Tha means letting yourself. Ha means letting yourself. Tha means pushing yourself. Hatha means getting the highest achievement in your life. I really suggest you to reread this text and of this part of the treatise and kind of focus on it for some time. And as we already managed to discuss in our previous lessons, and our future lessons are based on the previous ones. So we are growing gradually and step by step. You will see that the yoga is the combination usually of two extremes, like there was right and left, there was the sun and the moon, day and night, mother and father, but the yoga is the union. Yoga is this middle, the golden pathway through it, because there is a large fall in one side and the other. It's like a very sharp shape of the knife. So, and we are striving for the better, and there are certain meanings behind it. And you see that ha can be the same as tha, and they are vice versa. So there is really thing to think about it in this meaning. When we talk about the names of the poses, we'll already touch this topic in our material about the kinds of Hatha Yoga 2 lessons ago. But let me mention this in this class again, that there can be different names for the same pose. And there can be different poses with one name. Actually, the ancient texts didn't really give much of the names for the poses, as far as I know. But later, yogis and people related to yoga noticed some similarities of the poses with the plants, animals, or something else, and they found the equal name in the Sanskrit. So they would say that this is, for example, like a cobra, and they gave a name. It's Bhujangasana. But to tell the truth, the name of the pose is not the key. It's not the key, but it might help you. And some yogis or people do believe that they are yogis have a great disputes and spending a lot of their energy trying to show and to prove that they know the right name of a certain pose. But actually, it's not that important. What else? There are two ways you can practice yoga, and there are two ways you should practice yoga. In the way that you can practice yoga on your own, and you can practice yoga in a group. Both ways are correct. Both ways are required and necessary. Of course, you can go in one way or the other, but again, this merge, the union, will give the best achievements and the best results. Because when you go in a group, the group forms a very strong union, and you can do far more, and you can progress faster in the group. And also, you are having a yoga instructor or yoga teacher who is supervising your development and growth, and is protecting you from some mistakes that you could make in your learning process. However, this could be once or 3 times a week that you could go to a yoga class. That would be recommended. However, the remaining time you should spend on your own yoga mat at home or wherever you can practice yoga, where is the place you will practice yoga. And this is actually a wonderful thing to do, and very much required is your personal practice. Because there are things that you will have to do, where you will have to do the hard work with yourself, and this is the personal practice. This is the difficulties on your way. This is the challenge you will have to do, but it will also give the great benefits with the time and with the practice. Thereby, find the possibility to do it both in a group and on your own. Then we discussed about the names of the poses, and there are also the descriptions of poses. Actually, there are very many, thousands and thousands of poses. Any pose you can make or you can take is a Hatha Yoga pose, and it has its own benefits. There are about thousands and thousands of the poses that have been given to us or that we can take. But for the most oftenly used, there are about 85 poses. And of these poses, about 30 and 40 are very much effective for our modern lifestyle that we do. And if we are able to learn them and practice them, then we can achieve quite a lot. Still, I have heard people saying, well, I have passed all the poses, I can make them. So it means that I have passed the entire yoga. I know them well, I'm flexible, I'm strong. There are some hidden clues and hidden secrets in the Hatha Yoga, even though it looks physical. There is much more in it. Thereby, ability to have a nice photos doing these poses is nothing more than a gymnastics. So thereby you need to find this method of energy and method of consciousness and method of harmony in doing yoga. And then, yes, then you can say that you have past yoga, but probably you won't do that. But when it comes to the poses, we have about the description from the ancient texts is about 3 to 4 lines, and it gives only the essential. The rest will come with the practice. Modern books on yoga and Hatha Yoga in particular actually have quite a lot of descriptions for the poses. Sometimes I have seen the books with the 10, 20 and more pages on the pose, and then it seems to go like even by degrees, where your finger has to point, where your eyes should look, how you should breathe, and so on and so forth. Um, Maybe for some people, this description would be a great guide. However, it is recommended to follow our inner teacher or inner guide, and we all are different, because if we all were the same, then it would work, and but it doesn't, and we all have our prehistory, preconditions. We have different bodies, even probably very similar, but we are also different, and that's the beauty. Thereby, I would more interest to the few lines, but if those 20 pages are helpful and not confusing you, then you could go and try with those ones. But the ancient teachers probably, well, the modern teachers would say that ancient teachers were very limited in their paper and possibility to write, but I wouldn't really say so, and doesn't really seem the reason for to tell that the descriptions are shorter than the 20 pages, but goes only for 3 or 4 lines. Thereby, let me give you the description of one pose, and if you have a possibility, I'm not going to show you it because there were no drawings, mostly, for the poses, and there are a lot of variations that you could have in this area. This also is the extract from the treatise on Hatha Yoga, and description of one pose. Here is the pose. Oh dear student, place your body on the floor on your abdomen. Place the palms under the shoulders. Lift up your eyes. Then slowly raise your head. Bend your neck, then your back, and help yourself with your hands to bend more. So remain in this pose, giving yourself to the energy. Then do everything in reverse to exit from the pose. This asana brings clear rage to your mind. Like a cobra ready to strike, this exercise heals eyes, the upper spine, and gives clarity of mind. By doing this asana, you wake up forces dozing in a sacrum. So quite a decent, small description of the pose. And as you can see in this pose, there is a reference to the cobra. And actually, this is the cobra pose or Bhujangasana that I mentioned before. They give you how to enter in the pose, how to exit from the pose, and also it says what it gives you. So brings clear rage to the mind, like a cobra ready to strike. This exercise heals eyes, the upper spine, and gives clarity of mind. By doing this asana, you will wake up forces dosing in the sacrum. Seemingly very simple pose. It doesn't say that you have to bend to the certain angle or certain height or anything else concerning this pose, but it is really nice and short and quite exact. Thereby, the rest is on you. Nobody will do work for you. This is the work that you can do only yourself. So thereby, be careful with the very long descriptions, very detailed descriptions. For some of the people, they are so confusing that all they can focus is not their body, but the description. But when they practice with the time, this most of the description comes to them. But if they are so into the doing the pose according to the specific instructions, long instructions, then this could be quite difficult. And this notion of feeling the senses would not come rather than trying to become very similar to a certain picture or a person. It is good idea that you could try to trying to become similar or gain some qualities that the person you admire has, but still there is this learning of yourself and doing it. When we come to the doing of the pose, there are usually two kinds of schools in yoga, and one of them is trying to go to the maximum and push even more, like you go to your limits and a little bit more. Difficult one, not an easy task. And then there is quite the opposite one, when you just let it go. You relax in the position. You hope that something inside you will wake or move your body the way it should be. Both of them are right and good, but in the combination. We really need the combination of both of them. And on our school, we invite you to firstly apply the first method when you let it go, or you relax or find a comfortable position. Give yourself time and let the energy inside to wake up, because the certain position is doing certain things to our body, and not only to the physical one, but also to the fine body and fine structures, like with our emotions and working with our mind. Yes, we can do it. And then when we have the first impression on the pose and the feelings and senses, we go to the other method. We go to the father's method or the consciousness method, and we kind of force ourselves a bit. No violence, just overcoming ourselves, putting some effort in, and doing it well. So we trust our body. However, if we will hurt our body, the body is not going to trust us. Thereby, the first yoga principle about non-harm is to be applied also for the regarding ourselves. we have to be very gentle because imagine you missed a day for your yoga routine, but you said or wrote down that you're going to do yoga every day, but something happened and you couldn't. So the next day you decide, oh wow, I didn't do it. Then now I have to do it, and then I'll do a surplus for tomorrow. So yesterday to do it tomorrow, I'll do the triple yoga. Um, the fact or the trick here is that probably the day after and then the day after that day you are not going to return to yoga because your body will be aching, the body will be finding, and the mind will be trying to find all the possible excuses just not to go on the mat, just not to practice yoga because the body will feel the fear. You have hurt the body. Still, if we have spent, uh, let me exaggerate, 5 years on a couch and our muscles are weak, um, all we can do is to get to a refrigerator. And after the Christmas and New Year's time, when we had a lot of celebrations, it's quite difficult to get ourselves in shape by the means that we were so relaxed. So now we have to get back on the track. And a lot of people are having their New Year promises to themselves to become more healthy, more active, uh, lose weight, or fulfill their some kind of dreams that they put so much stress on that or on their body that very soon after they just say, oh no, let's wait till the next year, next Monday. I'll start on the next Monday, and then next Monday, and next, I'll start next year. And this next year never comes because it's the next one. Thereby, we have to be very careful. And actually, yoga says a lot of people ask about food. We will have a lesson on food and other things, but what should I eat when I start practicing yoga? If you don't know, uh, you should better eat what you were eating before. And then with the time and practice, you will feel that after some food products or products from the specific producer or specifically made are not giving you the strength or the power or that are making you weaker or the opposite, they are making you stronger. And then you yourself will feel I need this food or that food, and there won't be the questions should I eat this or that. And that's the same with with the poses or efforts you should make. You yourself will feel it, and one person will find I don't know some seafood as the requirement for some yoga practice, while the other ones will say no. For some time, I'm just on a vegetarian diet. So the diet question and other things will come naturally in this way. As I already mentioned, the doing the pose, in doing the poses, we apply those two methods, the method of consciousness and the method of energy. Like when you remember the Ha means mother and Ha is the father, Ha is the father and Ha is the mother. And Hatha is their baby, their union and their baby. Also, in doing the poses, first, like a newborn baby, you trust the mother. You are very gentle, very mild. You just feel yourself. You try the approximate position. You just find the best, the most harmonious way, most pleasant one. You enjoy it because anyway, whatever you do on the background, there is the joy from either relaxing or overcoming of yourself, or putting some effort in it, or growing. And it might not be an easy process. If it would be easy, probably I would not be here today talking to you about that, because there are some challenges that are in front of you, but I hope you're not afraid of them, and you are off to go with your New Year's promises and keeping them. Actually, it's a good idea to write them down um, in your yoga diary with your hand, just to reread them later during the year, or when the next year starts, and to see how well it goes. But back to the methods. Uh, we the first, yes, be very gentle to yourself, very, very, like the mom, like the really caring mom. uh, you enjoy it, you are in the position, no stress, just relax, just observe, just be there. And then when the child grows, then the dad comes, and the dad is more strict, more demanding. So be more demanding to yourself at some time, but also the time that you will need in the consciousness method will be shorter. And then you will manage to combine these two methods, spending some time in the energy method, then switching to the consciousness method. A nice harmony, a nice balance in both of them, relaxing and observing, seeing the result from the one method and the other method just right after them. So you combine, you unite them. And the good news are that it's impossible to do something wrong. If you follow these rules of non-violence, no exaggeration, the method of harmony, if you are not doing one pose, you are automatically doing some other pose, and with the time, your body will bring you in the position you need. As long as there is the enjoyment and happiness, inspiration in you that yogis call bhava, and this is something very important. In order to do something, you need this inspiration, enjoyment, and happiness, or bhava, or it's even more than these three words, but it's just to give a notion of it. And if you don't have it, then usually you're weak and low, depressed, any negative feelings you can find if there are no bhava. There's no use to start anything new, or and really was the time or body when it learns to trust us will tell the better versions of the pose that you need to take. And here the main thing is practice. Don't wait until some guru from the mountains comes to you in a shape you expect this person to be, and will tell you, now you have to do this, this, and this. This might never happen, because those great teachers usually look very usual, while we expect them to be some extraordinary. And you might not even recognize the great teacher in this person, because they speak normally, they look normal, they eat normally, or they don't have some specific lifestyle. They might do the work, the normal work, like we do, some social responsibilities. And actually, there might be several teachers. There might be a teacher in a form of the person you don't like, but they are giving the teachings to this person, or the things you should learn through this person. There are a lot of external teachers waking up your internal teacher inside you, and usually they are not giving the instructions like do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But you have to let everything through yourself, analyze it, feel it, because we can't really meditate on the fine structures if we are not feeling our body. And Hatha Yoga is the great place to start getting to know your body, your abilities, and then to be ready for something more and to go on. Actually, yes, Hatha Yoga is nothing artificial. If we would get on the island alone, if we would want to explore ourselves, we would eventually come to yoga. We would come to eventually to these kind of practices. We actually have come to them, to the different kinds of them, in many ways. Um, and some people have been more lucky and have received some more information about what are the important things and what are less important. When you would be alone or together with some great surrounding, what would you find as the important things and what you would find as less important things? What would you find as important if it's really a new iPhone or new car, or to earn a million more, or there are some other values that you would really evaluate as more valuable. Thereby, you just have to think in this direction more and more. Um, and yes, this is you learn to trust your inner feelings. And what Hatha Yoga does, it saves us the time because it has these poses ready for you, has the descriptions, it has the some recommendations too. Uh, and what we have to do is whenever we feel some discomfort, we stop. We either slow down or we stop and wait for the things to come back to the to better condition. Because when you start the changes, you are kind of building the new bed for the river, and at some point the river start flowing in a new bed, and in a new valley, and it means that something will change. Something will change for sure, and we'll probably talk about the problems or the challenges on the way of in the way of yoga. Um, And it is good to know the theory behind what you do because the theory is like a compass. But the compass can break down, and those are in your inner feelings that will really your heart. So the people would say usually, "Oh, this is my heart that told me to do this," even though my mind was completely opposing or telling that this would not be the best way. Thereby, yes, the inner feelings are good to be well trained and like the locate where you have to go and which is the thing. Then the question I'm often asked is how to start practicing. Either people who have done some yoga gymnastics or have done the yoga on their own, then what I can suggest is also a part of the treatise on Hatha Yoga, and it says, let me read this to you. A student Adya asked his teacher how one ought to master unknown poses and how to practice already known poses. She, the teacher, replied, wise men say that the best thing to start learning a pose is by the energy method. As caring mother feeds her newborn baby, the energy method helps the newcomer in yoga. Let it be even just one exercise a day. Then the same as the child who was breastfed starts to see and play with his father. Yogis should also learn a pose by father's method of consciousness. So we have already discussed it, and here it's just a nicely put together uh, in a very clear way. If we are at least a bit aware of the methods of the energy and consciousness, but also if we say it like a mom and like a dad, it also makes the sense. And some of the people say inner feelings. You say that we have to trust our inner feelings, but I don't feel it. I can't feel, or I don't feel myself. Yes, I feel when I get hurt, but I don't really feel the difference in one pose or the other. Start doing. Start doing, even if you don't feel it, even if you don't know the old theory behind it, even if you have not received the full instruction manual, just practice it. And this will come with the time, because Hatha Yoga is like the key. It sharpens the mind. It makes the body stronger. It increases the ability to trust your inner feelings, because you really start feeling something, and then you analyze what did you feel, what conclusions can you make, um, and nobody can tell how long, but usually the results are very fast, because yoga is very effective system. There's only one thing: regular practice that you need to do. And yes, there are only a few things that are telling how successful you are. It is the habit, that the need to practice yoga regularly, and nobody from outside will ever tell how well you succeed. And Hatha Yoga, as you remember from the beginning of this class, is intended for you to be able to stay in one stable, comfortable position for a longer period of time for the meditation. Thereby, it is a good thing to train and to be trained in this area. A lot of yoga methods are used also in the modern medicine. Some people are using the yoga methods for the bad reasons, because mm, there are some methods, some techniques that that will give you results to anybody if they are practiced correctly. And then the person brings this method, and then they bring their own impressions about the world, or some things that they want to get from these people. So you have to always be very careful. Even if one thing is working and the person told one thing right, then it doesn't mean that everything that this person will say is the correct thing. It is just you have to be very careful, and you have to follow whatever is happening. You have to focus more on yourselves. Uh, and Hatha Yoga will really help you to differentiate between the people who are improving you, helping you, or others making your situation worse. So, but probably we get what we deserve, but we doesn't say that we don't have to be careful. Yes, and as I mentioned, the mastery of yoga is the regularity of practice, habit to do yoga, this feeling of joy when you are doing, rather than just simply doing it as the I don't want it, but I'm doing it. Of course, the first you start doing it, you are excited. And if you do it like according to your abilities, and then there might and you get the results. You are more fit, you smile more, your relationships improve, your inner feelings improve. But then at one point there can be a flat area without any changes, or the changes you can't notice. There is the process going inside you, and you might even feel that something is going down. Then why should you? Uh, this is the test. This is they're examining you, and there are probably some very fine structures that are being worked on that you still can feel, but um, yes, it might take quite a long time. So mm, we don't know, uh, and for everybody it's individual. And as many yogis you will meet, uh, they will tell a different kind of stories about their own practice, and through their perception, how they saw it. Of course, there are a lot of people say, "Oh, I practiced for 3 months. Saw no result." Mm, then the question is, did you practice by these methods? Did you find the harmony? Did you start feeling something? Some changes might not be visual, and some changes at the first impression might not be the most pleasant ones, because mm, because things change. If you change and if your attitude changes to things, then the people around you might change the attitude towards you. It's good that you can help them with your own example, change their lives for the better. But it is possible that those people around you will change, and some relationships that you treasure a lot or you were very much used to might be lost. So, mm, but it gives much more in return, thereby it's always your own risk, your own initiative. It's either you want it or not. If you are looking for some changes, or you want to leave it, because some people are ready to suffer uh, and not change anything, just because they find that suffering is safer for them, or they would feel better if this all continues this way, rather than new changes would take place in the life. And if somebody wants to suffer, you can't do anything, because we are all free. We are like all of us are like the independent universe. And if they want you in their life, then so it will be. And thereby you have to be very careful with the things that you do, and by doing simply the physical exercises with the notion and following your inner feelings, you will learn quite a lot about your life. Then about sequence of poses. Some people are asking, is there any specific order how I should start practicing the Hatha Yoga? Should I start with I don't know, with the tree pose, or cobra pose, or any other pose? Um, we usually suggest to choose about 7 poses, but you can start even with the one pose and to work on them for some time, a week or 2 or even a month, and then change them, all of them or some of them. But the better start with the poses you like. And then you can go to the poses that you would like to master and to challenge. And a lot of things are left on you. And yes, it's just the practice. And if you have any questions about the yoga, you are more than welcome to share them with us. Also in the homework of this course, you can write down the questions that you are interested in, or the questions that you would like to send to our email address. But the personal practice, the personal experience, it's your impressions. Those are your feelings. This is what you go through, but nobody can tell. I have, when I do this pose, I have this vibration somewhere in my body. What does it mean? You are about to be a master of yourself and to see whether it means something or not. Then some people are asking if there are any restrictions for doing yoga if the person is ill. Then, as we might remember, the yoga is not medicine, and if there are any problems, you refer to your family doctor or general practitioner who will tell if some physical exercises are suitable for you or not. Because some people say or tend to think that the yoga is some kind of a miracle or panacea, helping to treat any disease. Yoga is not treating diseases. That's why we have the medicine, and if doctors can help, the doctors should help. However, of course, there are a lot of wonderful stories when yoga has helped, when the modern medicine has not been strong enough to help people, but that's not its prime responsibility. This is the side effect of your ability to focus on yourself, on your feelings, that you are able to see what is good for you and what is not. When you see, okay, I have a back pain, for some time, I go to yoga at my own risk and I study myself. It turns out I was sitting in a wrong position uh, for some time, and this position tended to cause some spine problems, or I was lifting too much weight. That was not good for me, as I should do it less. And this is how you master yourself, and this is how you see that by deciding what to eat or not, you choose the food that makes you feel better, that makes you feel stronger or more healthy. And these are just an examples. While we have seen a lot of great changes, but at some point, any the yoga instructor cannot take the responsibility of a person who is irresponsible to their health, because if you are not helping yourself and then you're going to the doctor and giving instructions to the doctor, now treat me like this, but I'm not going to use your medicine, then the doctors say, well, it's up to you, but there's nothing I can do. Or the person coming to your stressed at work and say, I need to do a massage and relax me. But then when you ask the person to relax, just laying on the massage table, no, I'm not going to relax, just apply some pressure and that's what I need. Um, yes, no, maybe. this is the fact where nobody else from the side can help. Only the you yourself are the king of yourself, the master, the Raja, or apply any other name for it. As we also the problems when practicing yoga is the fact that as I mentioned, that things can change. Your inner world is changing, so it means that your external world is changing because what's inside that's outside. These things actually they are all external to Supreme Self, to the Absolute, but we see this as me and what's inside me and what's outside, that's the external world. But whenever something inside will change, this will happen outside, and the surrounding around you will change. Thereby, some things you will leave or drop away as unnecessary, and some things will come as new ones. We don't know how this time was long, but this can be a long time when these changes happen, and this can be painful, not that much physically, like emotionally, when you might need to say goodbye to some very important things in your life, or something that you were very attached. That's the biggest problem. We get attached to the things, to the people. Um, we don't see what's behind all that. We just kind of are so much afraid of some changes that we are like catching them, and trying not to let them go. There's nothing more stable and more permanent than the changes, and you just have to be able to live with it, to master it. And actually, Hatha Yoga is a great help in this thing. Oh, and of course, apply common sense and trust your inner feelings with the practice, because you may progress in yoga and life very fast. But um, but simply talking, that's what we are doing now, is not taking us very far in the practice. Thereby, I'm stopping here, not taking your valuable time even more. We are having the lesson next week, and all the materials will be available on the website for you to read, to see, and to grow. Also, the text contains several descriptions from the treatise on Hatha Yoga. So it will include some photo material or drawings. We'll see which one is better, and try to spend some time in them, and try to in their description, they are giving the examples or the impact that this pose is giving. Try to focus on these things. If they say that your eyesight might become better, or you could eliminate the problems from the eyesight or vision, try it for a month. And if there are some things that are your weaknesses, that you find as your weaknesses, work on them more and see how it goes. Write down in your yoga diary, uh, and share your comments if you can with us. We will be very happy. So see you next week. And just as a reminding, my name is Yogini Rasa. I'm yoga instructor of the International Open Yoga University, and I would really appreciate if you would share this information and put your thumbs up on the YouTube channel. That would help a lot of more people to reach us in a sooner time and increase the community and your possibility to meet a like-minded people. So see you next week. Have a great week and have a great practice, and goodbye.